Oh, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And what I want to talk about is caring for your sick loved ones. And I'm I'm coming to a conclusion that that is something that I think is considered old-fashioned. And this is what I want to talk about. Now, I had my wife of 41 years. We raised our children, and we had a business, and so what we would do is when the kids were sick, we would bring them. We had a back room or something close to the business, and we would either we would take turns. My wife and I would take turns watching over them and taking care of them, or we would hire a nanny. And I noticed my wife was explaining that in Guatemala, when she was being raised, they had a nanny. They had a business, and they had a full-time nanny with them all the time. But they had five kids, so and they ran their business, but they also had a nanny there to watch over the kids, like a babysitter, in case y'all don't know what a nanny is. And we cared for our kids, and then we cared for ourselves. Now, it was different saying you're self-employed. When you get sick, you still got to work. When you break a limb, you still got to work. There's no excuses for not working when you own your own business. So you kind of get a different kind of attitude. And we moved to Guatemala, Central America, in, like I say, about early 2000, 2002, maybe 2003, something like that. And when we moved down there, like I said, we had a hotel, so it was a little bit different on that. We had a staff, and but when we get sick, we would one of us of the family would be caring for whoever it is that's sick. Now, at that time, she had her mother and father and brothers and sisters, so somebody would care for them. When I would get sick, my wife would take care of me. Now, it was kind of funny. When she takes care of me, she would call over at the hotel restaurant and tell them to make some chicken noodle soup for me. And so that's, so she'd, have somebody do the work. But now, when we were living in the United States, what we would do, somebody would get sick. Well, in the family, if one got sick, everybody gets sick. So what we do is make a big old pot of soup, and throw a chicken, get a big pot, throw a chicken in there and boil it, and don't boil it till it's done. You take the chicken out, and you skim the grease that's in the pot. You skim that off, and because you don't want the chicken grease, you don't want that, and you don't have the chicken skin. So you get rid of chicken skin. So all you have is you take the meat off of the chicken, and then you throw the bones back in to your broth, and you boil that. And what you do with that is it gets all the minerals and stuff like that from the bones into the soup. And then now you have the broth. Now you can use the broth for other things. We'd make like rice soup, vegetable soup, or noodle soup. It doesn't make any difference, but we already had the soup base made, and that's what we do. And that was what we would call, and what happens is when the degree of sickness you may be going to be in bed, maybe we can't work, so we go to bed. And then, like I said, we got this back room or something, and so we'd have the cot up, and then that's where we'd be sleeping there. And then about every 10 or 15 minutes, the spouse would go in and check on them and see, make sure they're covered right, make sure they got water, if they're hungry, make sure they get the food, and this type of stuff. And this was considered caring for someone. Now I'm starting to understand and learn not everybody did things like that. And now I understand why now a lot of people go to the emergency room for stuff. You get a cold, they go to the emergency room. What are you going to cold for the emergency room? Okay, people don't know how to take care of one another. And this is, my new wife. This is what I've learned from her, because I was asked her before. Now I'm sick. Before I got sick, I asked her, "Well, how do you take care of yourself?" But that's one of the problems I had when I was by myself for 6 years, and getting sick is a pain in the butt. And she's been by herself for over 30 years. So I asked her, "Well, how do you take care of yourself?" "Well, I go to the doctor." And go to the doctor, why would you go to the doctor, if you really got a problem, I understand, but just because you get sick, you go to the doctor, so what it is, as a communist, in a communist country, their health care is all paid for. So you just get sick, you go into the hospital, or you go to the doctor, and it's all taken care of. That explains what's going on in the United States. In the United States, everybody wants insurance. So let the insurance take care of them when they get sick. People don't understand they have a personal responsibility of not only taking care of themselves, but taking care of their spouse and their family members. They don't understand that. And now in Guatemala, they still do. And the thing is, they don't have, it's socialized. They do have medicine, free medicine, stuff like that. But you go in there and you wait for a day or two to get your free stuff. And so people learned from their parents and their grandparents how to take care of one another. So they do. They still take care of one another. But in the United States, I noticed they don't. And that's why they're going to the emergency ward, emergency room to be taken care of for things that they shouldn't be in the emergency room for. And like I say, they go to the doctor for things that they don't need to go to the doctor for. And one thing all these all have in common, even here in China, is they give you medicine. And then once you start taking medicine, well, that's a whole other story. One of these days I'll make a video talking about how medicine makes you sicker. So it just covers the symptoms. It doesn't do anything. Now I get sick. I still get sick. There's because there's different germs and different things everywhere you go, and I'm in a whole different country, so of course I'm going to get sick. But my sickness isn't as bad as what it should be, and it doesn't last as long as it should. And like I say, I can still function if I have to when I get sick, and that's because my body has learned how to cope with the sickness, how to deal with it. And I know how to deal with it. I changed my diet and this type of stuff. But this is something that a lot of people just do not know and understand. And I think I'm going to be making more videos sharing what you need to do to take care of yourself. And like I say, that it all revolves around, like I say, the eating the right foods and stuff like that. Now I have people say, "Well, Mike, you're all wrong." Well, look, I was raised by my parents, or I raised my kids, and we didn't do all that kind of stuff, and we did pretty good, just the way we did it. And I say, yeah, look in the mirror. And if you're not obese, you're not physically fit, you can't do things, Your mental capacities slowed down. Like I say, not only your physical but your mental. You're always looking for the easy way of doing things because you're incapable of taking on any kind of stressful type anything. These are all results of medication. And like I say, you're in bad habits. So don't say, well,